We all have projects that we start and then never finish because we get bored with them or whatever. This headboard bench was one of those projects for me. I started this probably back in October of 2014. Now I'm working on the legs. The legs are two 2x4s that I laminated together with just a lot of glue and screws. When the glue was dry, I removed the screws and then cut them down to about 3 inches square on my table saw. Here I'm doing a cove to kind of give the legs a little bit of character. Now I'm just sanding them down because they set on a shelf for a long time and they just kept getting moved from place to place. I decided to paint this, and I got some 50-cent Oops paint from Home Depot. I always try to get Oops paints whenever I go in there because most of the time you can find either a sample or a quart for either 50 cents or $1 or two. And then you can kind of build up a little collection. Try to stay away from the gallons just because I never use the gallons in enough time before they run. And so I just had enough with this little sample of this purple to get this done. And honestly, whenever I was in Home Depot the other day and saw this color, I was like, oh, that's the perfect color for this bench that's been sitting there forever. Everything on this is just assembled with pocket screws. Press the easy button. I used the 2.5-inch pocket screws because they were going into the 2x material, and it seems to be very strong right now. To get my reveals right, you can see I just clamped some boards in place to kind of add a spacing, and I really like how this whole thing turned out. For the headboard, I wanted to have a little bit of a lean to it, because if you have just a 90-degree angle, then it won't be very comfortable. So I basically connected the bottom right here, and then I created a lean as much as it could do while getting a full purchase, and that made the bench much more comfortable. Probably could have used a little bit more, but overall it's very nice. For the wood parts, I use Minwax Early American. It's one of my favorite stains. I had it, and it just really ended up contrasting nice with this. I actually stained these probably back in October. For the slats, I just had a bunch of 1x material that I cut down, so I think about 2¼ inches wide. Then I just rounded over the top so you wouldn't have any sharp edges poking you when you sat down. The little board I just clip in place right there is basically to make sure I have all my boards evenly spaced and to add a little bit of reveal. It was just a little piece of scrap wood. I think it was around a quarter, no, it was around a 1/2 inch thick. Then I just brad nailed these in place. The brad nails really just need to hold them in place. The load is completely carried across the front and back stretchers. So a brad nail is more than sufficient to keep this where it needs to be. I still need to go back and clear coat this a few times, but it might be 4 or 5 months before I get to that, who knows. And for the clear coat, I would just get some Rust-Oleum or Krylon for the outdoors. So overall, this was one of those projects I started, got bored with, and didn't really care about. But then when I was done with it, I really liked it. And instead of selling it like my original plan is, I decided that I'm just going to leave it here on my front lawn and use it to go read. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good day.